interesting conversations to be had right now about this Heisman. I think we not only released, what is the playoff picture now with the top 4 in, the first 2 out, but then we also get the Heisman watch list as well, which is we were talking about Bryce Young at Alabama, Kenneth Walker, who was
in Caleb Williams. He's number 3.
No, he's not.
He is, which is
How
crazy.
Did I miss that?
What? Give us your thoughts there. Here's a guy that's essentially playing half of a season, and he's played 3 games, and he's immediately in the conversation. I mean, he will be invited to New York if it was today,
right?
Which is crazy to me, right? Nothing against what he's done, nothing against how good of a player he is, but do you think he's deserving of a trip to New York at this time, or do you think it really is a down year where there's not that one, no questions asked, that's the Heisman winner?
I thought Matt Corral was in there.
He is in there. He's just further down on the list in the odds that I saw.
Dude, that's really funny. I teed that up, and you're like, yeah, dude.
I just can't wrap my mind around that Bryce Young is just going to run away with this thing, but, like, who else? Like, don't get me wrong. He's played really, really well. He's a good leader of that Alabama team. Everything that he does is great. Don't get me wrong. But it's not a Lamar Jackson. It's not a Baker Mayfield type season. It's not a Tim Tebow type season. Like, it's none of those things.
Yeah, right. I agree. I don't know. Sorry, fans. We're going to have to fact check Trevor here because I think C.J. Stroud and Matt Corral are actually both ahead of him.
Different lists.
But maybe not. Regardless, doesn't matter. He's actually in the talk. And this is what I love about the MVP, right? The Heisman, the most valuable player. When I think of the most valuable player for my team, I think of 3 guys right now in the country. I think of Kenneth Walker, I think of Matt Corral, and I think of Caleb Williams because of what he's done. And we've had a front row seat because we're watching Big 12 every weekend. But what he's done since he's come into the game at that 4th and 2, and regardless of the chitter-chatter or whatnot, we saw the whole team elevate. To me, it does not matter if you play 3 games or 12. That just gives you stats. Obviously, you want to see production in a bunch of games, but just watching this team elevate with him, how do you not talk about him? Why in the world would he not be in New York right now? And I just don't care that he's had, a smaller, tape, and as opposed to these other guys, what he's done for this team, right?
He's been a match, right?
I'm telling you.
He's a stroke of the match. Light the fire. Here they come, boys, down the stretch. It has been very cool to watch. I can't decide at this time if he's truly deserving of a trip to New York City or if it really is just a down year in the Heisman race. I can't.
Well, it's definitely been a little bit of both. And what's funny just in the entire world of college football is it's been a down year on both sides. Outside of Georgia, it's all Georgia, and then everybody else is kind of, they're taking rounds,
Right.
And, kind of get knocked down in the 4th round. They get back up. They knock them down 6th round. It's just a weird kind of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So
let us not forget, though, that we've got a lot of fun to watch here in the next couple of years with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
This dude is a true freshman playing with that much poise.
Right,
I mean, think about take me back to your freshman year, right? When you were yellow shirting or whatever shirt you were wearing. Purple shirting.
Yeah.
Do you think realistically that you were capable of coming in maturity-wise, poise-wise, talent-wise, all understanding of the game? I mean, the list goes on. Yeah. Would you have been able to step in and produce like a Caleb Williams?
Not a chance. Not a chance. I really don't mind admitting that. I had to grow up. For me, I had to grow up in my own belief.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a really weird thing to say.
That's the biggest piece of it,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's crazy. And when you watch him, again, the fingernail thing, whatever you call that, not the headband, it's like a do-rag, half do-rag. He's just got his own style. But, half in, half out mouthpiece the whole time too. But he just laughs, man. He laughs. He loves it. He knows, I think, probably won't say this out loud. He won't, but I feel like he knows he's the best player out there because when he goes and plays, that's what you see. You saw that with Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. You saw that with Baker Mayfield. You saw that with Johnny Manziel. Those guys that just know I'm better than you.
Yeah.
They don't mind showing it. He's
truly
a little
believe
bit,
it.
Right. And that's it's funny when you compare all three of those guys, which that would be a hell of a show for us, between Baker, Kyler, and Caleb, who I think has a really good chance. Even though we were talking about Spencer Rattler, it's his to lose. I think Caleb's going to be that guy next year. But in this system, when you have a guy like this, and that whether or not he doesn't believe the hype, or he's just good in the spotlight, whatever it was that just didn't match up well with Spencer Rattler this year, he just gives those guys a different feel, a different look, and I never had that. I had a people pleaser. I wanted to please coach. I wanted to please everybody else, and it really affected me. It affected me even in the league.
I was the same way.
Yeah, so I love it.
I tried to be too perfect.
Yes, right? Man, I envy Caleb so much in that world, and that goes for a lot of you out there that are watching this podcast, and again, if you are a player, if you're not a player, want to be a quarterback, man, if you have fun and just don't care, I have heard that more in my life post football, that I play better when I just didn't care.
That is those exact words come out of my mouth. I take myself back to spring ball of 2013, okay? Or maybe 2013. So I'm going in, I'm trying to become the starter for the first time, and I wasn't playing as well as I knew that I could because I was trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
I ended up having a conversation with a teammate of mine. He's like, dude, just go out there and let it rip. Like, don't care as much. I'm like, that doesn't make sense in my head.
Right.
What do you mean don't care as much?
Yeah.
But when I didn't care as much, I was just, you play better. Think about it. Pat Mahomes, when he was playing, the best football on the planet, dude, he's out there having fun with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and the coaching staff. Obviously, you have to get to a certain point of trust with your coaches, with your teammates, all those types of things. But go out there and let it rip, man. It's game day.
You got nothing to lose, man.
Right.
You really don't.
Right.
And that's what. And I think that's, again, kind of going back to the Spencer Rattler conversation. I think that's what got a little bit of Spencer Rattler is when you watch him talking about Mims, 5 minutes ago. Caleb throws the ball up to him. He lets him go make a play.
Yeah.
And when you are timid with the football and want to be perfect and trying to make. And when you just let it rip and go, that's when your guys can make plays, and then that's when ultimately this offense really rides. So on that topic, though, Spencer Rattler did come in, which was great by him, great by the fans, giving him a standing O. Guys loving him, embracing him. Lincoln Riley saying the same thing post game is okay. Now it's over. He showed you that he's a team guy. He hasn't transferred yet, which we all me and you were talking about, which was a big deal. So 505, 67 yards TD. What do you think about him coming in?
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's still patting the wounds, right? I mean, it's disappointing. He wants to be the guy out there. He's a competitor. He's a great football player. But it is not his job right now, right? And I know that better than anybody.
Yeah.
I was a starter for 2 years. Baker comes in. I've got to sit behind him as a competitor that ate at me.
Yeah.
But I knew there were things ahead, right? And so I was excited to see that on Saturday. I'm more excited to see how Spencer continues to handle this and what his future holds.
Yeah.
Does he end up at a big Power 5 conference team and lead them to a bunch of wins? I think he's got the capacity and the ability to do so. But it's got to be how he responds and how he takes this, for lack of a better term, kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
And turns it into potentially something good.
Yep, agreed.
So it'll be fun to watch Oklahoma, as we move into these next couple of games. But
big bye week coming in.
Big bye week.